And we are live on YouTube. What's going on, YouTubers?
Hi, YouTube.
This is my Lex Luthor quarantine look. I like to think that I look a little bit younger without the facial hair. I like to think that. That doesn't mean it's true, obviously. And now on the Psycho Bunny Death Cults. Oh, one rebel mouse. What's up, Psycho Bunnies? We are ready to party with you here in the padded room. Dude, we are drinking Four Loko Black.
Mm-hmm.
Hold up your can there, Monica. Let them know that we're both drinking for here. Cheers.
Yay!
Four Loko Black.
Black.
Which makes this room smell like a parking garage for like 4 weeks.
Yeah, we smell like an alleyway after a concert.
Much better analogy, now that I think about it. Are you guys familiar? Oh, Connor's in the house. What's up, Sharon?
Connor, I want you to get one of these for next week's episode.
Connor, absolutely.
Yes.
I think Connor should pick next week's movie. What do you think about that? Connor?
Yeah, do it, girl.
I think you should pick next week's movie. It's got to be something directed or produced by Uwe Boll. Yes. So, or you can just not. You can just not. You can choose not to. I was being a total asshole at work today. Well, good for you, Connor. We should all be assholes at work today. Those of us that still have a work to go to, I should say. Those of us that are deemed essential. I mean, unfuck this situation.
Where are you working at, Connor?
Connor worked at Wendy's.
Oh.
Which is actually probably my favorite fast food place.
So you get
Heather's
Wendy's
in the house.
Fries?
What's up, Heather? Heather joins us from the Gothic and All Things Halloween Facebook group.
Oh, hi, Heather.
What's up, Heather? How are you? Thank you for approving my post on a weekly basis. Oh, we're going to do... Heather, are you familiar at all with the works of Uwe Boll? You probably are. You probably just didn't know it. They're bad. Whatever movie you hate, I guarantee has something to do with Uwe Boll. I work at Wendy's. See? I told you
okay. You guys get free food?
You should. You fucking should. I think probably my go-to for fast food has always been Taco Bell. But if I want a burger, I go Wendy's every time. I used to go Burger King, but the last 3 times I ate there, I got the shits real bad. Ever since then, I'm a Wendy's guy. The bacon jalapeno burger is where it's at.
They have that at Wendy's?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good. And I don't think it's real meat, so you can probably eat that.
No, I'm not eating it.
Connor, is that real meat that you use there? I don't think it is.
Aren't you guys the place that use
a meat substitute? It comes in a tube.
Somebody used like mealworms or something that I once heard, or was that just like a myth?
I don't know, but you're closed captioned for the hearing impaired.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a new thing. Is anybody else watching us with closed captioning?
I didn't know that.
Because I'm about to drop some F-bombs, and I don't know if that's going to...
really cool.
I don't know. Hey, Ashley's in the house.
Hi, Ashley.
Are you guys ready to do a podcast? Ian's in the house. What's up, Ian?
What a film.
Now, that's a film, Ian. That's a good show to watch. Not what we're about to talk about. We have the Trex burger. That's like a fake burger.
Oh.
It's like it's not a... That's not a... Connor, that's not a meat product, right? In the Trex burger? Go get yourself a Trex burger, would you?
No, that's okay.
Why not? There's no meat in it. There's no animal products.
No, that's okay.
You have a Trex burger. No. I'll buy it. We'll go right after the show. You
I like
it.
the real veggie burgers. Thank you.
They have at Wendy's?
No, I mean the real ones made out of vegetables.
Oh, yeah. You mean the hockey pucks. That's what they are. They're like spray-painted styrofoam. Parole officer's in the house. What's up, parole officer?
Hi, Sharon.
Parole officer.
Oh, see? Sharon is watching the captions. I'm half deaf. That's awesome.
Oh, very cool. I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay.
It must be brand new.
Yeah, we didn't see this last week. All right, we're about to get into an actual podcast here. Let me just grab my little cheat sheet, if I can reach it.
Wendy's has real meat.
Okay, that's good to know.
Hi, Steven.
Stacy's in the house.
Are you guys barbecuing tonight?
He barbecues every night.
I love you guys.
I love him.
You are like,
dude, I want to lose weight, but I can't because I'm friends with Steven on Facebook. And every time I look at Facebook, he's got pictures of chicken wings and shit.
Or beer.
And now I'm hungry and I'm thinking, Steve is living his life correctly, and I am not. I'm running 5-6 miles a day like an asshole. This guy's enjoying himself. All right, here we go. Here comes Alone in the Dark from 2005, for Christ's sakes. Microphone on? No. No, it is not. I think this was her first podcast. Jesus Christ. That's right, inmates. We are talking about Alone in the Dark. This one's from 2005, written and directed by the Uwe Boll, here in Uwe Boll month, in the padded room. Stars.
What's up with the captions? Hey, parole officer.
It's a new thing.
Yes.
For some reason on Facebook, we're now closed captioned for the hearing impaired.
Yes, and
so
that is awesome.
Enjoy it because we do a lot of slurring. And this might clear a few things up.
Facebook picked up on it, so they're helping us out.
These two drunk fuckers, nobody knows what the hell they're talking about all the time, so we're going to go ahead and help them out.
Yeah.
This one stars the incomparable Christian Slater, the still attractive in 2005 Tara Reid, and Stephen Dorff. One of Monica's many film star boyfriends, Stephen Dorff, who I believe is all of 5'7", we said? 5'6"?
5'8".
5'8". He's up to 5'8" now. He's a big.
One website said 5'7", one said 5'8".
He's fine.
But Christian Slater does have him beat.
But he's 5'9". Christian Slater's a solid 5'9". A confirmed 5'9".
Yeah, we're the same height.
You and Christian Slater? Okay. Now I have a Christian Slater measuring stick. I'm gonna go too. Oh, the Red Queen is in the house. What's up, Red Queen? You see what I did here, Red Queen? This is because your services were unavailable, and I had to do it my goddamn self. Sister was cute back then. Oh, Slater. I agree.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Christian Slater so bad.
What, in Heathers?
Yeah. That was Heathers, Young Guns 2. Dude, I used to stand in the mirror and squint at myself for no reason. I'd get the Christian Slater.
Oh, my God.
Ugh. No, I don't know. Anyway.
Just to get off subject real quick. So Christian Slater was always compared to Jack Nicholson.
Absolutely.
With the squinting thing.
With squinting in the cadence of his voice, yeah.
Yes, but now somehow Leo took over that. The more he's getting older, the more he's looking like Jack Nicholson. Have you noticed that?
I get that, but Jack Nicholson, I feel like he is Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
And you know what you're going to get. Great as the Joker, great as the Devil, Witches of Eastwick. He's great in those weird kind of roles, but he's still, Jack Nicholson because, and Christian Slater's pretty much the same way, but he just does that weird squinting for no reason.
Yeah, you're right.
And David Arquette, he does the same shit, but he kind of adds a weird kind of cringe all of a sudden.
Yeah, he's this dork.
It's weird. Yeah. But back then, man, with the
we'll give it to Christian Slater.
I would say, I think Jack. If you got to look at the acting perspective and the full catalog, I go Jack Nicholson. But enough about that. We're in Uwe Boll month here.
Yes.
Let's get back into this shit sandwich of a movie. So we get this very long. This is a bad sign right from the get-go. We get this very long preamble about the Akambi people, and there was a lost civilization somewhere in South America, and there's a kind of like a Men in Black outfit of the U.S. government that's sent to study these things and take care of paranormal threats as they come up. Unit 713, and there was a doctor that was performing experiments within Unit 713, but then he broke off and he just started abducting orphans and conducting experiments on them. Dude, that's a bad sign right from the get-go. Now, bear in mind, this movie is based on a video game, okay? And I've never played the video game myself, but giving us this much information in a scrolling text during the opening credits, it's worked one time, and that was in Star Wars. And some would argue that it didn't actually work out that well, but this is what we're getting here. Like half the movie is summed up in this preamble that all it is somebody reading us this message. So that's what we got.
And was the voice Christopher Lambert?
It could have been.
I felt like it was Christopher
easily
Lambert.
Could have been. I don't know. It's not credited.
Oh.
But so that's where our story picks up. And then we cut to 22 years previous to the story, where we have, all right, this, I'm going to tell you right now, this movie is action-packed with plot holes. And I don't want to take a fat dump on this movie, but it's not a good movie, okay? And I'm not going to pick it apart. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be that guy that picks movies apart. I'm just going to point out a few things to you as we go. All right, so 22, I'm just going to point out a few things. 22 years previous to the start of this movie, we have a Catholic orphanage, okay? And out of nowhere, a guy shows up and he's like, hey, tells the headmistress, call the cops at 10 o'clock, tell them 20 of your students disappeared. And she's like, why? And she's like, I'm going to take 22 of your students. Where are you taking them? I'm putting them on the bus. And she's like, oh, okay. So that's kind of a weird thing. But as they're loading these kids on the bus, this weird bus, one of them just runs off. So now we've only got 19 of them. Connor, we haven't even started talking about sex. You got to give us 5 minutes before we start talking. Give us a chance to start talking about sex before you tell us to stop talking about sex. Regardless, one of these kids runs off, and that's where our movie starts. Because now we're going to jump 22 years into the future, present day, where we have Christian Slater, who is a paranormal investigator. Now, let's talk about paranormal investigators for a minute. I'm friends with quite a few paranormal investigators. Most of them have day jobs. Most of them work at like 7-Elevens and stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but really anybody can be a paranormal investigator. Christian Slater, on the other hand, is doing his best Snake Plissken impression throughout this entire movie, I would say. He's got the duster. He's got the black tank top that he wears under the duster. The duster kind of comes and goes throughout the movie, seemingly without reason. In this movie, he does like some Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon-esque kung fu, which is a bit suspect for a paranormal investigator. I have yet to meet a real guy that claims to be a paranormal investigator that weighs under 220 pounds. I'm just saying.
I feel, okay, when we get more into the movie, when him and Stephen Dorff meet,
yeah,
that's where I feel we kind of know his background. He is military.
Okay, I'll give you that. But for right now, he's just a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
Now, he gets off a plane. Now, here's the fun part. Now, this is a weird situation. The whole, the geography of this movie and the timeline in which it takes place is bizarro. But just bear with me here, because he gets off a plane, gets into a cab, driven by who?
Brennan Fletcher.
Absolutely. Our mass shooter from Rampage last week.
Awesome. I love this.
I love him. I love this guy.
He keeps all his characters in the movie.
And when you watch Uwe Boll movies, you'll see these dudes keep flipping up, and they keep coming back for more movies, which is great. Black Four Loco, the best there in the night. What? Too much moderation?
The best 3 in one night. Oh, yeah. I was telling Darian about your 3 in one night.
Dude, I am like 3/4.
I'm only halfway through.
I am fighting my way through this.
I'm going to have to buy like a pizza on the way
home. It's a good thing there's closed captioning on this one. By the way, look at the way the words are going. They're like flying by.
I know, they're so fast.
Like anybody's actually reading this. So anyway, he gets off a plane. He gets into a cab driven by Brennan Fletcher. He's driving. Everything's cool. All of a sudden, another cab pulls out behind him. And this is where we get our very first of many nonsensical action sequences in this movie. So here comes another cab, and Christian Slater, who's a paranormal investigator, is like, "Hey, there's another cab following us." You're you're a paranormal investigator. Why would anybody be following you? But anyway, more to the point, why would you notice that somebody's following you? Okay. Yeah, I got you. So there's the guy driving the other cab. Oh, Summer's in the house. What's up, Summer?
Yeah, hi.
Comes by and smashes him like in the back, and he's like rear-ending him, and they get into a little game of spy hunter with the cabs. Eventually, Brennan Fletcher has to pull over because he's like, "My fucking cab!" And then Christian Slater gets out. And we get a little kung fu sequence, and this part is all right, I guess, if you're into, 2005 kung fu sequences where there's like a lot of floating in the air.
Were you waiting for that song to play? No, the other one.
Which one?
Everybody was kung.
That's the same song.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much what happens. Christian Slater, who's a paranormal investigator with kung fu skills, steals the cop from a gun. The gun.
Cock from a gun. Wow.
Tonight's episode is brought to you by Four Loko.
There you go, Connor.
Steals the gun from a cop and does like a twirly move on him, and then goes hauling ass. This big guy, who I believe was played by Kevin Gage, gets shot like 5 times, like 3 times in the chest, keeps coming, once in the knee. Eventually, the bullets don't stop this dude, by the way. Christian Slater does like a kick flip on him and impales him in a warehouse, and that eventually shuts him down. Okay, now we're not going to hear any more about this dude for about 40 minutes, but he's going to come back up, which is weird because you would think there would be like some dialogue attached to this guy at some point. What, Connor? I'm fine. Yeah, I know. The sex talk and the cock and all that. I'm sorry. Dude, may I mention that I ran a 5K literally seconds before Monica got here to record this show?
Oh, yes.
She was pulling up as I was...
They were just getting
running into the driveway. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so that's kind of weird. And now, like, okay, no questions asked, no cops called, despite the missing gun. Christian Slater goes back to his apartment, which is very 90s-esque and very picturesque for a paranormal investigator. Have any of you guys seen The Room with Tommy Wiseau? It's very similar to that one. You should watch that one. You'd love it, but you'd hate it. So basically, Christian Slater lives in like a loft apartment. We don't know which city this situation is taking place in, because we're going to be kind of all over the place. But at the same time, this movie seems to take place within like a 3-block radius.
I felt like it was New York.
Could be. San Francisco, also a possibility. It's got a bridge. There's a bridge pictured in the film. I don't know if that means anything. So that's kind of weird. He goes and he crashes. Now we're going to cut to a museum somewhere in this exact same city, where we're going to meet a very young, very attractive, facial surgery Tara Reid. And she is playing a curator at this museum, and she looks pretty hot with her little nerdy glasses and her hair pulled back and her little, all kind of looking professional like. Super hot. I found that she was pretty hot in this movie.
She was hot in American Pie.
I thought she was hot in this one
like
too.
She already, like, her pants fit her.
Her pants fit her in this one. They were
Are you kidding?
slim.
They were like falling off of her.
No.
Like, ladies that are watching, a size 0. These were like children's 0 with a belt.
In this movie?
Yeah.
I know, but they were hot. They fit her, I felt like. Okay, well, I found her very attractive in this movie with her hair in a little school.
This was her last movie of looking pretty.
Yeah. After this, the surgery starts, and it gets a little wacky.
Like, she got crazy
after
this.
I thought she was pretty hot in this one. She plays the curator in a museum, and a mysterious box shows up from the museum. Now, it's worth mentioning that during this fight sequence between Christian Slater and the cab driver is trying to take from Christian Slater this weird flower statue. And we don't know what that is. And obviously, it has something to do with paranormal something or other, because apparently he's not only a paranormal investigator, he's also an archaeologist. So that's exciting.
Why do we keep going back to Johnny Depp?
What is this about Johnny Depp? I would fuck Johnny Depp any day. Stop talking about sex. Nobody brought up Johnny Depp, Connor. So
Connor, it's funny you should bring Johnny Depp up because I swear to God, my dad was a player, and I always say Johnny Depp and I look like brother and sister. I'll send you the picture of us.
I'll buy that. You think your dad got Johnny Depp pregnant?
No, his mom. Because
Johnny
his
Depp's
mom is like Bobby Sue or Peggy Sue.
Okay, I'm not going to get into that. No, yeah, it's quite possible. Maybe a DNA test or something to that effect. Regardless, Christian Slater has this artifact on him, and in this big scuffle, it got kind of broken, and we found out that there's a little piece inside that kind of telescopes out. It's got a bunch of funny symbols on it, and he doesn't really know what it is. He's like looking at it through a microscope. Cut to Tara Reid. Find out that her boyfriend, who is Christian Slater, has gone missing for about 6 months, and she doesn't know what the fuck is going on, but she just received a package from her boss, who is a Professor Lionel Hudgens that works there at the museum with her. It's a box. She opens it, and she's like, I don't know, it's like a bunch of crap. I don't understand what this is all about. Now we're going to cut to Lionel Hudgens. He is on a boat somewhere off the southern tip of Chile. Okay. All right. Just bear that. He's somewhere off the southern tip of Chile. Okay. And he has excavated from a shipwreck a solid gold coffin, or box shaped like a coffin, I should say. He's all excited about this. He's like, this is the fucking thing that I've been looking for. It's going to be great. So the people on the ship, they get this thing aboard, and the captain's like, oh, that goddamn thing is solid gold. Look at that. It's fucking whatever's inside got to be even more valuable. And the professor's like, oh, gee, hey, dude, you don't want to open this box, man. Captain's like, fuck this old guy. Hit him with a shovel and throw him in the room there. We're going to open this box anyway. Open the box. We don't really see what happens except that there's a lot of blood hitting the wall, not unlike Hatchet, where there was spaghetti sauce hitting trees for no reason. It's very similar, although I don't think Victor Crowley actually had anything to do with what happened on the ship. So that happens. Well, okay, bear in mind, now this is the fun part, because we don't know like the congruity of the story or what's happening at what time. So we're led to believe that these two things are happening like simultaneously, because the captain gets thrown into the weird deck of the ship. He throws a latch and lets himself out to find out the entire crew has been murdered, and there's bloodstains all over everything. Now, immediately, mind you, we cut back to Tara Reid at the museum, and he calls her, and instead of saying, hey, the captain punched me with a fucking shovel and threw me in the thing, instead, he just gives her an ass chewing about opening the box that he sent her. So, okay.
Don't think about it.
I'm going to have to assume that I can't assume, because the storyline and the congruity of it follows a perpendicular story, which would mean that all this stuff is happening simultaneously. I can't say for sure.
Hi, Dina.
Hey, Dina. I don't know, because we're going to jump all over the fucking place with the storyline, and there's so many goddamn plot holes that none of it makes sense in the end. Regardless, that happened. He's on a boat off the southern tip of Chile. Supposedly, this is happening simultaneously. Calls Tara Reid to give her an ass chewing about the box and whether or not she opened it. And
don't open it.
Don't open it. That was my call. The instruction said not to open it. Blah, 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 blah. She's like, oh, gee, sorry. I just thought I would catalog it for you. I'm trying to do your job for you, by the way. So
Jake came in.
Jake, what's up, Jake? I came in and have no idea what's happening. So Tara Reid was somehow involved in a murder.
Not yet.
That actually makes more sense than the movie. I like Jake's storyline more than the actual movie. So Okay, well, anyway, I think we should just make a movie off of what Jake said. Well,
Oh, Tara Reid's box is cursed.
we could just
Yes,
fill in
it is.
we could just fill in the blanks for you, Jake, because the rest of the movie makes less sense than what you're saying. Ryan's in the house. What's up, Ryan?
Hi, Ryan.
Okay, so that's kind of strange. I mean, he just got like assaulted and thrown into a cell on a ship. You would think he would have more to say than an ass chewing for Tara Reid. Regardless, now we're going to cut to Tara Reid. She's there working in her office late at night. Here comes.
Hi, Courtney.
Hey, Courtney's in the house. What's up, Courtney? Here comes Christian Slater, and he's like, "Hey," and okay. Okay, all right. All right. Now, here's problem number 2 that I have with this movie.
2 little people arguing?
No, it's not the arguing. It's the writing involved with the movie, okay? So, here's the thing. Okay, earlier in the film, we were alluded to that Tara Reid's boyfriend had just vanished for 2 months,
Right.
6 weeks. It's obviously Christian Slater. Christian Slater comes in, and she's like, "Oh my God, Eddie!" And she runs up and kisses him and makes out with him. And then she punches him. I get that. That part makes sense. And he's like, "I know, I'm sorry." And then he lays on this big story about how he was tracking poachers against in South America.
Yeah.
And then he stumbled upon this
relic
artifact smuggling ring, and he was going to track them. And she's like, "You know what? You didn't call, you didn't write, nothing." And then he like shows her the little thing, and he's like, "Can you make anything out of that? The symbols there?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, let me see what I can do."
Wait, this is the expression you get throughout the movie.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let me see what I can do here.
Mouth open. Oh.
So this is happening at the museum, mind you. Okay, so now I'm not. I mean, I don't want to be the dickhead here, and I'm trying really hard not to shit on this movie. But have you seen? Okay, have any of us seen The Room with Tommy Wiseau?
I have not.
Okay, there's a great. It's one of those movies that's so bad it's so good. It's basically this part where Tommy, his girlfriend is accusing him of beating her, and then halfway through the scene, his best friend shows up. So he's like, "I did not beat you." "Oh, hey, Mark, how are you?"
Oh.
And that's pretty much exactly how this scene goes.
Okay.
You didn't call, you didn't write, nothing. "Oh, let me see what those symbols mean." It's bad writing is what it is. And somebody should have looked at this and been like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Tara Reid probably forgot her lines.
What movie are you talking about? Jake, we're talking about Alone in the Dark from 2005. You're probably right. Tara probably forgot her lines there.
They were like, "You forgot 30 minutes of the movie there."
Just keep rolling. We don't have a lot of film. Just keep going. We'll just figure it out later. Just go. Keep going. So that part was pretty stupid. And she like looks at the thing. She runs it under a supermarket scanner as if that's supposed to do anything.
We're talking about Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark, Jake, from 2005, written and directed by Uwe Boll, who is known for your least favorite horror video game adaptations. This is probably one of them. So he's like, "Oh, okay, that's it's Scandinavian and Swiss and Chinese. There's all kinds of weird shit on there." And she's like, "Yeah, man, this is kind of wacky." Then the lights go out there at the museum, and all of a sudden the museum is turned into a very pretentious nightclub because here comes like all these flashing like nightclub lights for no reason. Everything's going on and off, and everybody's like, "Hey, I'm about to get my boogie on." "What the what? Hey, should we get out of here?" And he's like, "Yeah, we should. Let's." I don't know, this weird power outage thing. And they're like, "Okay, yeah, let's get out of here." So him and her start walking towards the door casually. Here comes our big monster thing. Now, before we get into the monsters, it's important to note that Christian Slater's character, what was his name? Carnsby, was part of this 20-child contingent that seemingly vanished from an orphanage and was thus experimented on by Unit 713 and thus became this weirdo cult thing. well, I wouldn't call it a cult. It's more like a sleeper cell situation. So when he opens the telescoping thing, all the other 19 kids in the cult, they go like, and they all just go walking towards Christian Slater.
Yeah.
So now they're all converging on the museum, and they're, I guess I would call them mutants. I mean, zombies. What do you think? They look like zombies.
Like the Walking Dead.
But they're fast.
But they're not really like zombies.
And there's a suspicious Asian one that suddenly is going to do kung fu for no apparent reason, other than the fact that Yue Bull is a racist. And you can look on YouTube. Hey, I'm not fucking around. You can go on YouTube and look at his Rampage 5 didn't get kickstarted rant. He's dropping N-bombs and J-bombs and other F-bombs and all kinds of shit. So that being said, one of them happens to be Asian. And luckily, Unit 713...
Yes, Alone in the Dark list.
You're exactly right. Unit 713 has been like monitoring this because they have paranormal energy detecting equipment. And they're like, whoa, the museum. So they send in like a crash team of commandos to break through the window. If you've seen the movie The Relic, this is a shitty version of The Relic. Like the next 20 minutes is going to be The Relic, but not nearly as good. So we get like a crash team coming through the window, and they've got, car fives. Now, this part is particularly silly because the lights go out, and like the commando team is just shooting at stuff.
Yeah.
They would have killed each other in like 30 seconds flat because nobody can see anything. But we get like a cool Rob Zombie music video here where Christian Slater finds a gun and Tara Reid finds a gun, and they're all like ducking behind stuff. Boom, 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 boom. And bah, 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 bah.
I love how Tara Reid is just like a biologist.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden,
but she knows how to
she knows how to work this
every single gun,
and everything.
blowing stuff up, doing like kick flips and combat rolls.
You're like dying of anorexia, but you can manage to hold this gun.
She had a quarter of a tuna sandwich for lunch that day, and that gave her all she needed to kick some ass against invisible monsters with UV protected bullets, which we're going to get into in 2 seconds.
Yeah, and not a splat of blood on her face.
Not a chance. So from there, the leader of, not the leader, but like a middle manager of Unit 713 rolls in, guy by the name of Burke, played by her, top of her celebrity sex list, Stephen Dorff. Dorff. He is 5'7", ma'am. That makes him taller than a dwarf. Stephen Dorff. And I might add, if I had seen this movie before I shaved my head, I don't think I would have shaved it. See, the driving force of me shaving my head, ladies and gentlemen, was the amount of forehead space. Here, see, look at that. I could sell ad space up here. But the amount of forehead space in this movie between Christian Slater and Stephen Dorff, dude, you could plant farms, you could raise livestock on those foreheads.
Stephen had a bigger forehead, than Christian.
But he had long hair. He had longer hair than Christian.
He looked stupid with that curls.
He had like a not a mullet, but like a full. It kind of rested back here. He
was like, I'm still hanging on to my curls.
Frosted tips, ladies. Keep your panties on.
As I'm looking at you, you know who you look like right now?
This guy? Right, who?
You look like the punk rocker. You know who I'm saying?
I don't.
Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, Suicide!
Yes, that's who you look like from right here. I'm looking at you. All you are missing is an earring.
What's wrong with you, man?
Yeah, you think this is a fucking costume?
This is a way of life. What the hell's wrong with you, man? Put your fucking clothes on.
That's who you look like.
I love it. I need the nose ring that connects to the ear. I mean, he was always my favorite. I don't know why he had to die so soon in the movie. He was great. Anyway, so this whole fucking action sequence is nonsense. And I'm not going to waste your time with the kick flips and the explosions and all that stuff. Needless to say, Stephen Dorff, Christian Slater, and Tara Reid get out. In the process, we find out that Christian Slater actually used to work for Unit 713 as some kind of an operative, but he quit because he didn't like the way things were being run. And there's like a little bit of a tussle real quick where Christian Slater steals Stephen Dorff's ID badge. And this is interesting, but it does lead to a bit of a problem because in a minute, Christian Slater is going to reconnect with his buddy who still works for 713, a guy by the name of Fish. And we're going to find out that for no apparent reason, Unit 713 is conducting an autopsy on the cab driver that assaulted Christian Slater at the beginning of the movie. That's not it. All of a sudden, they have his dead body. And
Clayton says that Stephen Dorff is on a new TV show. Is that true? I don't know. I don't have TV.
Blade, and that new TV show he's on.
What TV show?
Oh, he was in Blade.
He was in Blade.
He was Deacon Frost.
What TV show?
My son is named after Deacon Frost.
Oh, really?
Or Deacon Jones, the linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. I like to. I prefer to think of him as a vampire instead of a linebacker.
Vampire would be better.
Totally. I totally forgot about Blade. Who was that? Clay. Good catch. Regardless, so it's kind of weird that 713 has just decided to perform an autopsy on this random cab driver.
I know.
But they did, and they found out he was this is another plot hole. He is an ex-operative that disappeared 22 years previous. Okay, now we saw the cab driver at the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
He was not an old fella, and he did not look 22 years older than Christian Slater.
No.
In fact, he put a pretty good ass whipping on Christian Slater. So, again, I don't want to stickle for the details. I'm just saying that this is something that probably could have been looked at in the editing process. So, they do an autopsy on him, and they find this weird
deputy on Fox
apparatus attached to his spine. His new show is Deputy on Fox. Oh, very cool.
I have not
watched it yet. He probably plays the same character he played in Leatherface.
That's what I was just thinking.
Which was not, it was pretty good, I thought. All right, so that's kind of weird. And Dorff finds out that Fish is talking to Slater, so he gives him a ration of shit. He's like, I want all the intel you got on Carnesy. He's some kind of a weirdo, and he's trying to get in and wants to know what we know about this whole shit. So that's great. Now, Carnesby, Christian Slater, goes back to his old orphanage because all of his ex-compatriots have gone missing and attacked him at the fucking museum there. He was like, hey, he goes and talks to the old sister. The old sister's like, hey, sorry. Oh, look at you. You look great, man. And he's like, hey, what happened to everybody else around here? I don't know. They just kind of disappeared. But you came back, so you did all right. I assume they're fine, too. And he's like, oh, she knows something, and she's not telling us. And we get this weird kind of 50s private eye kind of monologue, like voiceovers periodically, where he's like, I knew the sister wasn't telling me everything she everything that she knew, because she gets that look in her eye when she's lying. I knew it from when I was a kid. It's kind of silly. And this fucking movie. So that's great. Now we go back to Christian Slater's apartment where he just kind of collapses because he's tired. Apparently, Tara Reid has like a key to the place because she just lets herself in and starts like poking around at what's going on, looking through all his artifacts and stuff. Cut back to the doctor, Lionel Hudgens, who has managed to secure from a secret compartment inside the coffin. There's like a little rock thing that he pulls out of there, and he knew about the secret compartment. So, mind you, according to this timeline, that happened the previous night, okay, in the southern tip of Chile. Cut to the next night, he's right back there. So, I don't know how he got there so fast, because we're going to have another big shootout at Christian Slater's apartment. Apparently, Christian Slater actually owns that entire building, because we're going to go up and downstairs, and this is like a whole high-rise situation, and into the basement and up into the roof, and there's like 25 guys and all the like 3 or 4 of these fucking monsters and more zombies that come and attack. And we get another Rob Zombie music video of people doing kick flips and throwing grenades at each other. These Unit 713 guys, They look like they just stepped out of American Gladiators because they have the BMX pads on them, which are not going to stop a bullet, by the way, and definitely not going to stop a monster talon.
Their outfits were pretty cool.
They look cool, but it was a tactical black T-shirt that you can buy in a Hanes 3-pack. It is not going to stop a fingernail clipping. If somebody takes one of these and then like one of those, it's going to go right through your shirt. Ow, shit. Did that hurt? Yes, it hurt. Did it break the skin? No, but it still fucking hurt. Don't throw I'm wearing my tactical black T-shirt. Don't throw fingernail clippings at me. That's what these guys are wearing with the BMX chest protector thingy over it and an American Gladiators helmet. So really, these guys are probably ready for a handball match, not ready to fight monsters. So these guys naturally get their asses handed to them, although they are carrying R5s and they do a lot of shooting. And again, with the kick flips and there's like a desk that gets thrown.
I'm not like too big into shooting, but when I see people shooting like machine guns with one hand,
why not?
They're like,
why not do it?
Wow, there's no kickback to that.
No, I mean they're supposed to be, but like if it was a real gun, it would be.
Okay.
No,
that's
but
what I was wondering.
My favorite is when they come out with 2 machine guns. And they're like, like you're gonna hit anything. Regardless, doesn't fucking matter. We're in Uwe Bowl land, for Christ's sake. So they do a good job of blasting the fuck out of Christian Slater's apartment building, because apparently he owns the building. And then at the end of this little shitstorm, Burke, who is Stephen Dorff, is like, all right, look, you fuckers, I need your help because there's a real shit sandwich coming our way, and we got to figure this out. I'll brief you in the air. So here's what we're gonna jump to some conclusions here. Lionel Hudgens, the doctor who's masterminding this shit, he is operating out of an abandoned gold mine not too far from here, and we know that because 713 has like a paranormal energy detector array, and there's an African-American young lady with a backwards baseball hat on a keyboard that is going to tell them exactly where to go. She's like, go what? I got a headset too. Go over there to the gold mine. That's where it is. So they go over there. They set up this big defensive perimeter. They got like Gatling guns and stuff and motion detected things. And they have to go into the gold mine, use the artifact to open the, what was it, the Abercrombie?
Yeah.
Akombi. They have to open the Akombi door to get into the catacombs, and that's where they can actually put an end to the whole shit. So that's the plan, okay? So they call everybody in from Unit 713, set up this big defensive perimeter. They expect like a bunch of these monsters to be in the woods, and they're right about that part. While like a secret tactical team is going to go down into the mine. Tactical team, of course, includes Stephen Dorff, Tara Reid, Christian Slater in his Snake Plissken duster, and like 3 or 4 random dudes who we know are going to get killed in the midst of this. And that's what's exact. If this was Star Trek, they'd be wearing red shirts. That's a Star Trek reference, you sons of bitches. Boom! I don't even watch Star Trek. All right, anyway, enough about that. So we get down there.
Hi, Jason.
Hey, Bradstreet's in the house. We get this big perimeter set up. All this high-speed equipment. You can't figure out how to run the fucking generator to get the power to the equipment. You got like one guy with a cigarette behind his ear, and he's like, oh, here I go. I'm going to get it fixed. Stop. Fuck, that hurt. Give me 5 more minutes. No, you said that 10 minutes ago. Okay, here we go. Stop. Shit. So he's fucking around with this generator. Eventually, he gets it up and running. Now, what we know about these creatures is that there's a certain light spectrum that they cannot exist in. So when they cut, it's kind of like I Am Legend when the creatures come running and then Will Smith turns the lights on.
Oh.
So it was kind of like that because we have all these perimeter lights set up and Gatling guns and everybody's like got their car 5s with special lamps on them and all that shit. Because when I think of solid tactical competency. I picture Terry. Yeah. She is who you want on your A team. Okay?
Absolutely.
You want her and like an Eddie Bauer jacket, because that's what you got here. And she's gonna stop a nosebleed.
Oh Lord.
So it's all fun. We're having a good time here. All right. So down they go into the gold mine to try to find this fucking thing. Now, plot hole number 512. This, I don't know what city we're in, okay, but we've made references to things, Sanskrit, all these different cultures, okay. Yet for some reason, all of these drastic events in this lost tomb is somewhere in the same city where Christian Slater has his apartment, and seems to be about 2 blocks away from there. So that's kind of strange, because they get into a helicopter. It takes them about 6 minutes to get there from the helicopter from Christian Slater's apartment.
It's New York. You got like Brooklyn, Manhattan, Long Island. Where do you want to go?
So you're telling me you can get from the southern tip of Chile to any of the 5 boroughs in New York in less than 12 hours? Wrong.
Somehow you can in this movie.
Okay. All right. You want to say New York? It's fine. It doesn't make any fucking sense, but all right. So regardless, that's where they are. They get down there. They get to a point, like a weird sand pit where like these worms come out and they eat like 2 of the guys. It's all very scary. They have to explode like this wall to get through there. They get in, they find the old laboratory of Dr. Hudgens, which is where he was conducting all these experiments on the kids. Scary stuff. And then, of course, Christian Slater finds one with his name on it. He's like, oh, this is where my childhood was. I don't remember anything. And it says Carnesby on it. He's like, oh, great, yeah. Now, he's got to take the artifact, put the piece in there, and use it to unlock the door. So, but the part that, okay, so this whole time, the laboratory was literally from here to that closet, from the breeding ground of these monsters.
Yes.
And all it really took was a little click, and then you had to throw the power switch and you were in. So all this time, really all you had to do, all you really needed was like a jackhammer to go around the door thing and dig your way in, and then there they are. But
there is all kinds of shit underneath New York. Don't even think about it.
Number one, okay. I'm trying not to think about it. And I'm trying not to shit on this movie too, by the way, which is very easy to do, because this fucking movie sucks, and I'm sorry. All right, so regardless, Hudgens meets him down there, and he's got like a car fight. He's like, drop your weapons. Give me that artifact thing. I'm going to open this thing up. And Tara Reid is like, no, you don't know what the scripture says. It says we're all going to die if you open that up. He's like, I don't give a shit. So they kind of battle it out there for a minute. Unfortunately, he clicks the little turn thing before they kill him, and then up comes the door. So Stephen Dorff, Tara Reid, and Christian Slater go into the door, and they see the big array of monsters. And it's like a big catacomb type of a thing, and it's pitch black in there. And as the camera pulls back, we see there's like hundreds of these monsters crawling around.
See, even Jason said New York has insane sewer stories.
You're exactly right.
Yep.
This isn't, number one, we don't know that we're in New York. We could just as easily be in San Francisco. Number two,
well, they got sewers there too.
They do, but this is not a sewer. This is a secret laboratory underneath an orphanage.
Hey, Washington, Seattle has the secret cities underground, so
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's call it Washington or Seattle, and let's talk about the secret cities. Not just a random laboratory where 20 kids were abducted and experimented on. Okay, I don't want to nitpick this, but regardless, they're like, whoa, look at all these fucking monsters. Shit, let's get out of here. So Stephen Dorff, being the hero of the movie, he's like, I'm going to set these explosives and we're going to get out of here. So he sets the explosives and they go hauling ass. He gets to a safe distance and he hits the clacker in classic Joker style. The clacker doesn't work. So he's like, I got to go back. You guys get out of here. So they go up the ladder. They come out right outside the orphanage, right? Dorff hits the clacker, kaboom, blows a whole wall down so the monsters can't get out. He somehow survives. And then we cut to outside the orphanage as these Tara Reid and Christian Slater they're all burned up looking, and they come out. And then they come out, and then there's the orphanage. So the whole ancient civilization catacomb was underneath New York and right next door to the experimental laboratory, which was underneath the orphanage where the entire movie started, which is about 3 blocks away from Christian Slater's apartment, which is about 4.5 blocks away from the museum, which is less than 6 hours away from the boat where the guy tried to manhandle the professor to begin with. So really, I think this whole thing took place like Oakland. I say Oakland Bay.
Okay.
I mean, well, no, that doesn't make sense because it's the southern coast of Chile. So it's got to be somewhere in South America, but that doesn't make any fucking sense either, right?
I felt
None of this movie makes any fucking sense.
I just felt like it was New York because of the weather.
There was a bridge, and there was also a bridge.
But the weather in San Francisco?
It could be. Not the same Dorff who played Chucky. No, that's Dourif. Bradstreet. That's Brad Dourif. That we're talking about, of course. Dorff. He's 5'7". That makes him legally not a dwarf. Now you're fucking me all up. But all right. Anyway, Monica wants to have sex with him, even though she won't admit it. So okay, they come out and they find that Sister Clara has committed suicide there in the orphanage. All the kids are gone.
Yes.
They start walking around the city, and they find the city has been evacuated. Okay. Okay.
I had a problem.
I have a problem with it as well. But by all means, go right ahead.
So as they're walking down the street, everybody's car is parked on the sidewalk. Like if you just came home from work and you parked, but you got the one random car.
There's like 2 or 3 of them.
Yes, parked this way. And
in the middle of an intersection.
Oh my God, really?
So I'm led to believe that, the city has been evacuated as stated by the placard at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
So am I to believe that by evacuation...
Secret crush. What?
Everybody just jumped out of their vehicles and ran in opposite directions?
Right?
Because that's what it appears to be. And I know that's not how cities are... We're in quarantine right now. That's not how cities are evacuated. We all casually went back to our homes, bought some toilet paper on the way and some gas station burritos, and here's where we've been ever since.
Yeah.
I didn't leave my fucking Jeep sitting in the middle of an intersection.
Thank you.
Like crossways to fuck everybody else up.
And when they did this scene, now I felt like I was in LA.
Could be. It could be LA. That actually makes more sense than New York, since you got there from the southern tip of Chile in less than 4 hours. And that, we get a cute little, like, Stephen Dorff or Burke actually survives, and you see him kind of come out of there, and he's like,
shocking.
Let me
dust my hair. Isn't that shocking that everybody else got killed by the explosion except him?
Either that or the monsters. And that wasn't all that great either. There was one hot chick that got, like, her head split in half. That part was probably the high point of the entire movie.
Oh, that was actually the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
The only, like, special effects.
Pretty much, yeah. Because everything else was CGI. Shitty CGI at that. I'm talking like American Werewolf in Paris level CGI, where the monsters look like they could have easily been sock puppets.
I thought the monsters looked okay.
They looked like PlayStation 1 cutscene level monsters, which I know you'll understand. That being said, that's pretty much the end of your movie, except we get to see Christian Slater and Tara Reid walk down an empty street, and then the camera zoom in on them, like, here comes a monster, and then and then that's it. That's the end of your movie. And that was Alone in the Dark from 2005.
And now you got to watch part 2 to see what happens.
There is a part 2. Have you seen part 2?
No, I almost started.
Are you going to? I'm thinking about it. Oh. I was also thinking about Seed part 2 and Rampage part 2.
Oh, I've seen all the Rampages. Maybe I should watch part
Alone
in the Dark.
I'm tempted.
I want to see them get killed.
I don't think they're in it. I'll tell you right now.
So they should get killed then, and the movie should pick up.
When you're talking about Uwe Boll sequels, they don't have to have anything to do with anything. They could just be a totally different story about nothing at all that has anything to do with the first movie. I don't know, man. I'm curious. I'm more curious about a Seed Part 2. Because I feel like there's some unfinished business.
Isn't there a Seed Part 2?
There's a Seed Part 2 and a 3.
Okay.
There's 3 Seed movies.
I should watch them then.
You know how many Blood Rain movies there are?
I don't want to know about that one.
Oh, I've got some bad news.
No, I will tie you up outside next weekend.
Oh, okay.
And you won't be doing that movie.
Hey now.
Have you seen Night of the Demons?
Love it,
yes,
Brian. That is a fantastic movie.
Which one? Original or
I would
remake?
say stay away from that remake, Brian. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's bad.
With Eddie Furlong?
Oh,
is that
Edward Fatlong.
I would rather.
Where he put on about 200 pounds. All right, inmates, we're going to take us a little break. We'll come back with some other stuff. That was Alone in the Dark. We both say avoid it at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Dude, I cannot.
I mean, if you're bored, go ahead and
don't
watch it.
Don't do it, Ryan. Ryan, watch Night of the Demons. That's a good movie. The original is a good movie.
The remake sucks.
The remake sucks. I agree with you. Although there were some very hot chicks in it. Good show. Thank you very much, parole officer. I almost called him loan officer.
Oh, the lonely officer.
No, loan. Like he's gonna lend you some money. Clay tied up, forced to watch Uwe Boll. Yeah. See what happens, Clay, is people donate to us on our Patreon account, and then they get to choose our running theme of the month. And unfortunately,
Clay, maybe you should
look into that because
our movies for next month or the month after.
This last month it was Jason Harold, and he decided he hates us.
Jason.
Thank you very much, Jason, but he hates us. He decided Uwe Boll movies.
I love Rampage though.
She has to earn money for me I charge high interest rate. The original was always my favorite Hall of Fame cast. Exactly right, Ryan. Amelia Kincaid, Linnea Quigley.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's about all I got for you.
It was just a little bit different.
The remake was horseshit.
They were stuck in that room.
Yeah. It was bad. What they did was they took all the horror hotties and they put them in the movie. You had Shannon Elizabeth, you had Monica Keenan, who I know a lot of people are not attracted to. I think Catherine Elizabeth, Dora Baird was in there. She was the one that reenacted the lipstick in the nipple scene.
Oh, okay.
But this time, and this is how bad the movie is, she sticks it in her nipple and it comes out her vagina. And it just doesn't, it's just not the same.
You bad devil.
Give that cash to recommendation. Call out people. It's a full podcast with your choice of film. That's exactly right, Jason. PaddedRoomPodcast.com is where you can find us. That's where our Patreon link is. May has already been taken. Our old friend Oddmother at the Psycho Bunny Death Cult has claimed May. She has chosen apocalyptic movies for the month of May. June, however, wide open. Anybody who wants it, $5 donation, you will get to pick all
our movies.
You know what? You don't want to pick a theme? Just give us a list of 4 movies. We'll do them in the month of June.
Yeah.
And
punish us if you want.
If they're bad,
pick Poultrygeist for Darian.
Do not pick Poultrygeist. I fucking hate that movie. She loves it. I don't understand. Well, I do understand why. It's mainly because of Four Loko, but it's not a good movie. Regardless, thank you guys very much for joining us. What movie do we want to do next week?
What are we doing next week?
I say Blood Rain. Can we do Blood? You don't want to do Blood Rain. What do you want to do? Should we pull up? Okay.
Let's pull it up and see.
Pull it up. Pull up Uwe Boll.
Okay.
Really, we're House of the Dead. Give us some Uwe Boll movies to pick for next week. Blood Rain is left. House of the Dead is left.
Postal.
Oh God.
I have not seen Postal.
It's terrible.
I've seen Blood Rain, and I think that's even worse.
How about House of the Dead?
Okay, I have not watched that one yet.
It's terrible too.
Okay, let's do House of the Dead then.
Oh God.
I don't know that one. What's that one?
These look like a bunch of shitty Auschwitz. Oh God, Auschwitz.
What's this? Blubber? Is that
Blubber Bell? Okay, join us next week for House of the Dead, inmates. We're not doing Blubber Bell. We just did Alone in the Dark.
Then you did Zombie Massacre?
It's terrible.
Oh, okay.
Seed 2, for Christ's sake. What is that? The Profane Exhibit. Get the fuck out of here. Anger of the Dead. Tell me that is not a, oh, look at this. Zombie Massacre 2. Eat my ass. Eat my ass.
That's a movie?
Yeah, can you believe that? Join us next week for House of the Dead, inmates, if you want to continue to torture yourself with Uwe Boll movies. Unfortunately, we've been paid for this, and now this is what we have to do.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you very much, Jason. Go fuck yourself. No, seriously. Thank you very much, Jason, for your Patreon contributions. House of the Dead coming up next. Zombiever is not a Uwe Boll movie, Jake, but I would love to do that because that... Actually, that's not very good either, except for the Bill Burr parts. But regardless, thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next week with House of the Dead.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. House of the